Welcome back to Pink Turtle Soaps. Today has been a little bit of an off day. I had started prepping for this soap about 1 o'clock and it's now 10:30 at night, and you may hear crickets in the background because they are awfully loud late at night. I am actually going out of town for a week. I'm leaving on the day that this video is uploaded. I'll be leaving this Sunday. I think that's September 29th. And that means that I won't be here to upload next Wednesday. You know that Wednesdays are my upload days. Don't worry, you will still get a video, but it will be uploaded on Saturday, the 28th. You'll have that video to watch on Saturday. I just wanted to put that out there in case you were looking for a video next Wednesday. If you haven't subscribed yet, you can do that, and then you can click the bell icon, and that will actually give you notifications on when I upload a new video. So the fragrance that I'm using today is a nice floral fragrance, but it's really one that's sort of, I like to say, in the middle. It's not feminine, it's not masculine. It's one of those fragrances that really works for anyone. I was really trying to work hard on the design for this soap. I'd probably bounce between 10 different ideas for this soap, but I really wanted to do something that would make this soap stand out from all the other ones that I've made in the past. So today I'm going to be doing layers, but they're going to be diagonal layers, so that should make for a fun design. So enough talking, let's get to making some soap. In this bucket over here I have my sodium hydroxide that's been mixed with distilled water. I'm going to add that to my oils, and then I'm going to blend them together with a stick blender. Now that everything is nice and blended, I'm going to split this large bucket into 5 smaller ones. I'm going to go ahead and measure all that out now. Okay, so I've already split off my soap into 5 smaller containers. And the first color we're going to be working with is Copper Penny. It's a really pretty brown. And this is going to be our first layer. I'm going to stick blend this for just a second to get this color nice and incorporated. Okay, so now I'm going to add the fragrance oil. Actually, before I do that, I'm going to go ahead and get my molds prepped. Now I'm going to add the fragrance oil to this soap. Okay, so I just blended up the fragrance oil, and the soap is thicker than what I normally like for it to be, but because we're doing layers, it's going to help if it thickens up faster. That way I can go ahead and get the next layer ready to pour, and I know that this layer is not going to move. And in all honesty, I'm not really looking for these layers to be completely flat. I think it'll look really cool if it has some texture. I just want to make sure that whenever I go to lay the molds flat on the table, that this soap's not going to budge. It's going to stay right in the corner where it is. The most I've done as far as doing layers at an angle is for the Best Man soap. If you haven't watched that, I'll leave a little eye in the upper right hand corner. Okay, so I've got that color in. The next color I'm going to be using is Alpine Green. This is the perfect shade of green if you're looking for something that's a little dark and foresty. Okay, so now it's time to pour this green soap. And I did try to leave this one a little bit more fluid so that I know that it fills up the gaps of the Copper Penny soap. And now that I'm working with this fragrance, sometimes whenever you actually start making soap with a fragrance, you start smelling things that you didn't quite smell out of the bottle. And I'm picking up a little bit of a pine scent. I don't know if that's one of the notes or not, but I do smell a pine. Okay, so the next color I'm going to be using is Bluebell. It's a really pretty light blue. The last time I used this blue was the Cinderella soap, I think. It has a little bit of a purple undertone. Okay, so I'm not sure what's going on with my camera. It's done this a few other times in a different video. I think it cut off, but all I did was I poured that Bluebell soap into the mold. Okay, so before I mix this color up, right now it's this really light shade of yellow, and that's what it's going to look like in the final product. But this will actually turn my soap a funky shade of orange. If you watched the video where I made a custom soap, this is the same colorant for the yellow that I used. And I'll leave an eye in the upper right hand corner if you've not seen that video. But I wanted to explain that before I start pouring this soap to explain to you why it's not this yellow and it's actually an orange, but it will go back to this shade of yellow. I'm going to pour this in and try not to overflow it. I may have to pour some of it now, and then when I'm able to set them flat, add the rest of it. And the shade I'm using for the very last layer is Cantaloupe. Okay, so now I have my molds flat on the table because this top layer I'm going to pour like I normally do. I'm not going to angle it up, but I am going to pour a little bit slow because that yellow, what's going to be yellow, is still a little bit soft. I don't want to puncture it. And I'm basically just going to fill up the rest of the mold with this color, this cantaloupe color. So I just finished texturing the top, so all I have left to do now is to spray it down with rubbing alcohol. It's now almost 11:30 at night, so we will probably come back in 2 days. This will be ready in about 24 hours, but I don't want to come back tomorrow night at 11:30 to cut this up, so we'll probably come back the next morning and check out the inside. So I will see you when it's time to cut up the soap. So we're back to cut up the soap. It's been about 2 days. The fragrance is still coming out really strong. As you can see, I've changed up the filming angle. I've actually turned around my cutter, hoping that it will give you guys a better view of the soap cutting. So we'll go ahead and cut off this first bar. That's what it looks like on the inside. It almost looks like a mountain range with like a sunset or something. Looks really cool. I'm really happy with how those layers came out. I knew they wouldn't be completely straight, but I thought that the texture would give this a really neat look. Let's go ahead and cut up the rest of the loaf and see what we've got. Here's an up-close look. And then there's no glitter on the top. I really had to fight myself on that. I always put glitter on my soaps, but this one I felt the inside is pretty busy enough, so I left the top without glitter. If you'd like to grab yourself a bar, these will be available at pinkturtlesoaps.com October 1st at 8 a.m. As always, thank you so much for watching, and we'll see you next Wednesday.